should you leave your assets outright to your children, or should you leave it in a trust for your children? Again, this depends on what your family situation is. If you have minor children, of course you are leaving the assets to a trust for the minors, because a minor cannot own assets. And typically when you leave assets to a trust for minor children, at some point in time that money will pay outright to them. And before it pays outright, the money is there to provide them support, to provide them for college, for education, for anything that you can think of that would support your child. Oh, and by the way, when you're leaving money to a minor child, you're going to need to make sure that your will appoints a guardian for that child. So your will is going to appoint a guardian, and your will is also going to create a trust with a trustee to manage the money for your minor child or your minor children. And those two people do not need to be the same people. And sometimes we encourage you to divide those roles so that the person who's the guardian isn't also the person who's in charge of the money. So if you have minor children, definitely you will want to leave money in trust for them. Okay, let's say you don't have minors. They're adults now and they're functioning quite well. Should you leave their money in trust? Well, it really depends on a lot of things. One of the things is, are you concerned that they are in a bad situation in terms of their lifestyle? So do they have alcohol, drug issues, gambling, spending, divorcing spouse issues, all of those things that are very, very common. I often talk with clients, and I just want to let you know that having those sorts of family dynamics, those are very common dynamics. So in those situations, we often will recommend that you leave the money in trust for your child, your adult child. And if you do that, you can say, yes, it'll pay out at a certain age, or you can also leave it in trust for what we call a descendants trust. And they can be their own trustee, and it is for their lifetime. This trust never needs to end. And then upon their death, it will pay perhaps where you said it'll go, for example, down to their children, your grandchildren. So what I want you to understand with trusts is that they can be set up so differently to accomplish whatever your particular goals are with your family dynamics. So when you hear the term trust, what that is a clue is to say, ask more questions. You know, how does it work? How can it benefit my family member who's going to be inheriting from me? So trust can be set up for anyone, frankly, and they will give lots of protections for the person who is inheriting from you. Lots of times people say, well, I don't want to overcomplicate things. Understand that. You know, a trust is a more complicated route to go than if you leave it outright. But one of the things that's important for you to understand is go through all the, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? To make sure that you feel really comfortable about whether or not you left it outright or in trust.